Welcome everybody to Sawdust Talk episode 149 with our friend Danny from Upper Room Creations. We are going to get into Danny here in a second. I'm going to go through our sponsors real quick. We have Surf Rep Sanding, who has been a great sponsor to our show. For all your abrasive needs, you should check out Surf Rep Sanding. You can use code Sawdust Talk for 10% off. And their abrasives are amazing because it doesn't matter if you have a surf prep sander, you can get sanding supplies for whatever sander you have. We also have a Patreon. If you would like to support our show and kick us a few bucks for, a cup of coffee or whatever, head over to our Patreon. It's in our bio. Also, we want to talk about Makers for St. Jude. We have been partnered with Makers for St. Jude for a couple years now. Last year, we raised a ton of money for kids with cancer. We are kicking off our spring challenges this year. If you need help, organizing a giveaway, reach out to me, reach out to TJ, reach out to Mike from Makers for St. Jude or Woodworker versus Cancer, and we can get you set up. But tonight we have Danny, and welcome, Danny. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are
Thank
you?
you for having me. Who am I? What am I? So I'm Danny. My business is Upper Room Custom Creations, but I use the abbreviated version as Upper Room Creations for all my social handles. And yeah, that's me.
More about you, though. What is
Okay.
your background? How did you get into all this?
Okay. So I guess I'll touch on a little bit of what I do. My main thing, I have a wood shop. My main thing is I do a lot of theater stuff, so a lot of props, set pieces. I have a whole side of that for rental needs. So if theater or school needs to rent a set piece, I have different things. But then I also build stuff on site for different organizations and woodworking, laser stuff, anything from bottle openers to large platforms and show signs and anything in between. So that's what I make. What else?
That's what you make.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit in the pre-show about your background as a
Yeah.
firefighter. I want you to talk more about that.
Okay. I joined the fire department in 1998. My town has a volunteer department, and I joined as a volunteer. My dad is the second in command, I guess if you'll call, in that department, deputy chief. And so I grew up kind of around it. Joined in 1998, and then I was a 911 dispatcher for a while. Did that for like 6.5, 7 years, and then in 2010, I actually got hired in a town over who has a career fire department. Got hired as an EMT, and then in 2011, transitioned from an EMT to a full-time firefighter. Then,
And
in 2017, I actually got hurt. Wasn't work-related injury. I was actually on a youth group camping trip with our church and youth group, and I messed my shoulder and neck up. I ended up having to have surgery, and surgery went well, but I wasn't 100%. And with the job being a civil service career, I ended up having to leave early, pension out early from that surgery injury. Thus, I started my woodworking business. So the business I've had since 2018, and after I left the fire department, I was kind of in a weird spot for a little bit there. I guess you would say I was a little lost mentally. Didn't feel like I really had a purpose. So my church actually had a part-time position open up. So I reluctantly took a job there, and it was a great decision. I was nervous at first, but it was a great decision. I learned a lot. I ended up becoming the technical director there, so I did a lot of the live stream stuff when that all started to come about, and all their social media stuff and website things. And I was doing my woodworking business on the side. And then January of last year, I decided my business was taking off, and I was so busy with that that I didn't want to really have any regrets. So I ultimately left the church and started doing this full time. So as of January last year, I am a full time maker.
You are a full-time maker. One thing I super, super appreciate about you is the fact that the connections that you've made with people. And you've made some really strong connections in the community. And I have seen you at maker events. I've seen you supporting local makers, such as Pine Barren,
The Pineys.
Pat and Carlina. Do you want to
Yep.
talk about how that friendship started?
So that started, honestly, I don't even 100% remember. I know it was through Instagram. I don't know whether I saw their page or what, but somehow I stumbled across their Instagram page, I believe, and just messaged back and forth here and there, a couple little things, and then found out that they were literally an hour away from me. My wife is actually a nurse practitioner, and she works in their town. So it was kind of weird. I mean, they would drive by her place where she works. So we just, talked more, and then I went up and saw their shop, and yeah, but from there, just became really good friends. I was at their place earlier today. I surprised them at lunchtime.
And you also made something special for their.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so their new store, their the Maker's Handmade, 312th Street in Hamilton.
There you go.
Uh,
Shout out
they,
Piney.
yeah, there you go, Pineys. So they opened their store, Maker's Handmade, and before, like I was asking if they needed help with stuff. So when they moved from their Patrick's dad's place to the new facility, that sounds so like fancy, but to their new place. I helped them move some stuff, and then yeah, they reached out, asked them if they needed anything, and they asked if Carlina wanted that sign made, if I could do it. So yeah, they commissioned me to make that, and it's pretty cool. I like the fact that it's in the background when people walk in. It's one of the first things they see, so it's very rewarding that they trusted me to do it. So
I
yeah,
love that.
thanks.
And were you at Pine Barren Fest when they got engaged?
I was. Yeah. So the first year, so let me think. So 3 years ago, uh, Jenna and we went up. That's kind of when I first started talking with them a little bit. That was actually, I think, the first time I met my internet friends in person. Right. So weird how we say that.
I
Um,
know.
but yeah, met them there, saw them, whatever. So we just went, to see the event and check it out. And then the following year, I went as a vendor, and then this past year I went as a vendor too. So yeah, it's definitely a really nice event. It seems like it just gets bigger and bigger each year.
I wish I was closer to the East Coast because you guys all have the best like meetups and stuff, and I
Yeah,
just want to be there. Like Jimmy has his like go-kart
yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so far away, and I wish I could be at all
I
these things.
mean, like Philly Airport is less than an hour away from me and them, and so I'm just saying people could fly in. But it was really cool, yeah, that they got engaged. I did not. I mean, I knew like people were hanging out that night and camping out or whatever, and there was going to be music and whatever, and yeah, it was neat. It was pretty cool.
That's- I
He's a
love that.
sentimental dude, that Pat.
I love Pat and Carolina. They are like core friends of mine from the community.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
I also had to watch from afar. So
yeah, yeah. They're nice. They're all right. They're all right.
they're
They're all right.
you have done other stuff like in the community though. You were like I don't know, you're like somehow like engaged in like all of these little things on the side, and it surprises me that you don't have more followers than you have. Like I
Yeah,
feel like it'd be a
it's
bigger
surprising,
deal. You are a big deal, and everyone
but I
that
don't know
meets you
about
loves.
that. I don't know about that, but and like I don't know, like I don't put a ton of effort, I guess, into like my content. As far as the videos or reels or this, that, and the other. I don't really do any. I don't do anything on YouTube. I mean, I have a page, but I don't. I don't make videos for that. It's just to have it. Um, so I don't know if that's part of it, but also I love making stuff and building things, and that's what I get joy out of. I do get joy out of documenting things and having that footage and stuff and pictures for like portfolio stuff. But I feel like if I focused more on that, I wouldn't be as happy because I just like want to make things and see it hanging on somebody's wall in their store or whatever and be like, man, I made that, or a sign, or a set piece for a show. So when the audiences are coming in to watch the show, they're like, wow, this is cool. They're like transformed into another,
Yeah.
another time or whatever the story is. And, who made that? Or this isn't, you know what I mean? So I get like real satisfaction out of that. Um, and not to say that I don't get satisfaction out of people following or commenting on, you know what I mean? Like stories or reels or videos, whatever, or TikTok, whatever, and engaging with people because that's how I met, you and, Pat and Carlina, all the people that I'm friends with, all my internet friends. That's how I met them all through social media. So, yeah, but my numbers are a little low, but I mean, I try to not focus on it. I mean, you still look at it, right? I mean, we all want like huge numbers and it makes you a little more valuable, I feel like, to some of the bigger brands. But
I mean, growth on any social platform right now is a little skewed.
yeah, yeah,
It has been for
for
a
sure,
while. But
for sure. Yeah,
let's talk about can we talk about Onefinity and your relationship there?
sure. Um, do you need to mention where your other co-host is, by the way?
He's coming. He has to put kids to bed.
Okay. People are probably like, where's TJ at? What's
Where's
going
TJ?
on?
Where's the TJ rant? We don't
That's
have a
so
TJ
funny.
rant because he's putting kids to bed right now.
That's so funny. Um, so, yeah, I mean, what do you want to know about that? I have a Onefinity, and I'm an affiliate for them.
Yeah. I mean, what's your relationship there?
Yeah, so I have an affiliate partnership, I guess. I don't know how it's technically worded, but with them. So if you want an Infinity, I got a link. Let me know. Um, at the team, I mean, I've been, checking out Pat and Carlina have their machine, so I was checking out their machine and stuff in there at their shop. I had a Shapeoko. That was my first CNC, I purchased or whatever. That was actually the first thing my business paid for. You know what I mean? Like the other tools before that were all like, personal money and getting stuff started and things like that. But that was the first big purchase. Like I saved up for that. And then I just kind of outgrew it, wanted something a little bit bigger, something a little more reliable. And Pat and Carlina had Onefinity, so I was checking it out at their place. And then last year at Workbench Con, I was able to meet with the team there and Stone and Morgan and everybody, and just hit it off with them and became really good friends with them since then. Um, so yeah, so now I have a Onefinity Journeyman, and it's sitting on the other side of this wall that's behind me with tons of stuff ready to get cut on it tomorrow. I use it probably if I'm in the shop 5 days, 5 6 days a week, depending on what's going on that week. It's running 3/4 of that time. You know what I mean? So I use it a lot. It's been a
But
great asset.
you were also one of the crew that was helping set up the CNC at Workbench Con.
Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't really like asked to do that or hired to do that, if you will. I did that on
No,
my own
you
accord.
do it. That's you. You
Oh
just
yeah,
show help.
Yeah. So like I knew they were going to be there, and I told Stone like, hey, I'm going to be there. If you guys need a hand carrying stuff in or whatever, let me know. So kind of coordinated when they were coming in, and then yeah, helped them carry stuff in and whatever. I wasn't really doing anything. Figured why not? Give them a hand putting the machine together. So it was good. And then I got to meet Cody. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's good, and it
Oh.
worked. I saw it running, so it worked.
So
I
your
didn't.
help setting up actually worked.
Yeah. Well, they did all the technical stuff. I just was, putting screws where they needed to go.
No,
But yeah, so that's great. They're a great company. They're great, and they're like aside from that, I think a lot. Not that I have a bunch of different brands that I work with. Like three or four, but all the ones I work with, like I connect with them on a personal level, and that to me is more important than the product. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to be, working with somebody that has a good product, but you could have a great product, and if I don't, you know what I mean, like really mesh well with you, then what's the point? Because I mean, we're all here for limited time, so I'd rather be happy and work with the people that I like and get along with and stuff than somebody I bump heads with and don't believe in like their values or whatever. So
yeah. No, I think Onefinity and Surf Prep are two of like those are probably my top two
yeah,
of brands that are just so committed to the community, and it just feels like family.
yeah,
So you hang out with the Onefinity crew,
yeah,
that feels like family. You hang out with Surf Prep,
yeah.
it feels like family. And that's what I get behind. I
Yeah.
love that more than anything else.
And I have like um this year Workbench Con, I had the pleasure of meeting more of the surf prep people or whatever, and hanging out with personally out to dinner and stuff. And yeah, I 100% agree and get those same vibes from them. So yeah, I like it. I
Okay,
like
but we have to talk about the mustaches.
it. Yeah, like it, right? I should have one of my little stickers in here. I don't know where it is.
There was a
What's
couple guys that came out with mustaches just to take a picture with all of you at Onefinity, and I think you were part of that.
I was in that picture. Yes, I was. So obviously, when I was a firefighter, one of the things when you're wearing the mask and everything, you can't have facial hair like down here. It doesn't cause a good seal. It's a
Mm.
whole thing. So uh, when I was younger, I had a goatee, but then when I became a fireman, like I couldn't have that anymore. So it was always like kind of coming down the sides of the Fu Manchu, right? And
Fu
yeah,
Manchu.
so that was a thing. But then it could never be this long. So since I left the fire department, now I just yeah, let it go. But it's all great and everything. Like I'm old. Everybody thinks I'm so old. I'm really not that old, people. Everybody thinks I'm really old.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm not going to ask you to guess because it'll be some astronomical number. I'm 45.
That's not bad.
I know, but I get the whatever. It is what it is.
Should I ask you to guess how old I am?
I never want to guess a lady's age. No, I'm not going to guess. I'm gonna say between uh, 25 and 35.
I'm 36.
Oh, see, because I feel good.
You did good.
That's so funny.
That's
That's so funny.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
That was an awesome guess. So, what is coming up for you? What do you have going on in your shop?
A ton of things, and I feel like I work better when I have a bunch of stuff going on, but also it stresses me out. So it's like, hey, there he is.
Hi, everybody. This episode is also brought to you by Daylight Savings Time, which can go stuff it in a sock. Yeah, I'm sorry to just completely interrupt here, but I got to share some things with all of you every year. My wife and I say, you know what, we're going to nail this daylight savings time. We're going to start getting the kids to bed a little bit early, get them ready so that we can consistently just slide right in. And every year it is a massive fumble. So here I am.
Well, you're here now.
Yes, I am.
Hi, TJ.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, TJ. Excuse me.
So what I miss?
You missed a lot.
You can go back and watch it and listen to it.
That sounds like a play. No, I've been sitting in darkness praying that a 3-year-old will just finally snore consistently and stop flopping around like a fish.
Oh wow.
Danny, finish your thought though.
You gotta remind me. Oh, what I forget what was it. What did you ask me? Oh, what was going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a million things. Yeah, so currently right now I'm building props for a show at a local high school. It's called The Prom. It's a musical. So I'm building set pieces for that and props. I just finished up a big order of cornhole boards for local business, 10 sets, so they're done. I have a bunch of signs for a big order that I'm in the middle of getting them finished. It was 50 signs, all identical. Ohio, I think, is where they're going. So I have them kind of all over the shop on the CNC, some in paint. They're like all in different stages of completion. Yeah. And I do a lot of work for the state police, for New Jersey State Police. So one of my partners is a nonprofit organization, Troopers United Foundation, and I have a huge sign for the North Jersey troop for to go in their headquarters. So that's also in the works right now.
What does huge sign mean to you?
Oh, sorry. Well, this sign is 3 foot round, but it's multi-layered and backlit, a lot of detail and stuff. However, I say huge sign. I should, not say huge sign because some of the theater signs I make are 8 to 12 foot. So, yeah, just it's a little different, I guess.
And when you're doing great big theater signs at 8 to 12 feet, is that sort of like a multi-stage process, or is your machine just epic in its breadth and depth?
Yeah, no, they're usually layered signs and stuff like that. So like the letters and things like that, I'll cut out on the CNC or the laser, and then glue them on. Any of the intricate stuff is all done on that, and then I'll just do it in pieces, frame it. That'll be framed up and everything. But a lot of those things, which I think is interesting, I've learned over the years, they have to hang from a truss system above the stage, and some of them are just hanging there. Some of them fly in, so there's rigging and everything involved. And side note, I do that part time at the theater as well, make a few extra bucks. But the set pieces or signs will fly in and out, so there'll be somebody up on the fly rail, like pulling them up and down. So they have to be light. So over the years, the first few I made were a little heavy, and I've since learned what the different weight of the plywood I'm using or whatever that I want to use to make them lighter but still seem beefy if they need, what I mean, if they need to seem beefy or whatever, but they're light enough to be easily rigged.
I was gonna ask about the like the prop stuff, especially when it comes to like high school things, because I mean I live like a 5-minute walk from the local high school, my high school actually, and I would love to get involved with the kids and like teach them stuff, help them build their sets and whatnot. I mean, I used to do makeup for the plays. I was more of an athlete, but I would do like makeup and backstage stuff for the plays. But is that something that's like profitable for you, or are you like, is some of that kind of like just helping?
So like early on, my daughter does theater and stuff, and early on, as a parent, I would make stuff. Oh, we need this box, or we need this, or whatever. It's like through elementary school and stuff. We just make things. But now, Now it's my business, so now yes, it is profitable. So at my high school, actually, that I went to, is I build their spring musical and their fall play. I'm their set builder. I know that's coming. I know that, I know the dates when that are coming, so I block out scheduling wise shop time, because I know I'm going to be most likely off site building stuff at the school during that week, uh, that I have picked out. And one nice thing with them, just the way I have it set up, with me continually to go in, like a lot of the structural elements, can't talk, can't word, um, two by fours and different things for platforms and steps. They initially put that money out, to buy the supplies, but now they have them, and there's a storage room there. So when I disassemble, I store everything back in that room, and now for the next show, they've already spent that money on the lumber for those particular things.
Mhm.
Um, there might be some little odds and ends we need, but they're essentially just paying me my labor to go in and do it, and we just have a contracted agreement on what I'm getting paid to do that. Um, and then if there's small little prop things that I have, then I just bring them in my fancy trailer that you've seen recently, and
Mhm.
yeah, bring them there for that. So it's nice. And then when the show's over, I go tear everything down. So it's kind of like, it's fun, because you do all that work. But then, like with theater, especially schools, they're usually just 1 week, like 3, 4 days, end of the week, and that's it. And then I go in and tear it all down. So it's like you do all this work. Like some of the sets, I built like a Rock of Ages set. It was crazy. It looks amazing, and then you think about, oh, let's tear it all down a week later. So,
Do you go
but
and
yeah,
watch all the performances?
I try to. Yeah, yeah, I try to. And then I belong to, like, we have a community theater, that I'm a vice president of. So Cumberland Players, shout out. Um, yeah, so we, have a theater. We build stuff there and everything for our shows. But as far as business wise, high school, and then there's some places that just reach out, and they might just want a prop or a thing like that to just rent, not necessarily me go build it. They just want to rent something. So I have invoices and contracts and stuff. I send it to them. I deliver the piece if they need it delivered, or they come pick it up, and I get it back. So it's kind of another like revenue stream to have that rental income.
Heck yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think set building and stage design and theater construction is just a segment of woodworking that we really just haven't had on the show just yet. And I think I think it's a unique opportunity that dang near every municipality probably has.
Yeah.
And there may already be somebody in our listeners' cities that have cornered that, but
Yeah.
I think it's really clever that you've attached onto that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I also want to take like a half a step backwards and talk about this trailer of yours a little bit. Most specifically, you have a reel, I don't know, from the last couple of months where you got some pretty trick vinyl work done on the back
Yeah.
window of your vehicle also. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I knew, like, when I got the trailer, obviously it was for delivering stuff. And when thinking about advertising and marketing, I'm like, well, this is literally a rolling billboard going down the street. I should put stickers on it, or have a wrap done on it, or whatever. So I reached out, to a local company, and told them what I wanted. I said, this is kind of what I want, and they ran with it, and back and forth with a couple different design mock-ups, and then yeah, went with it. No, I paid full price. It was no like deal we worked out or whatever, and you know what I mean. I didn't get anything for free, or whatever. And then I decided, oh, I think it would be neat to have something on the truck when I don't have the trailer. So I reached back out to them, and said, hey, I love what you did with the trailer. You think you can do something on my back window, kind of mimic that image that you did with the trailer? And for that, we did work something out, and yeah, took it over there. Got some footage of the guy doing it, and they're actually, I'm not familiar with the vinyl wrap world and stuff, but they're, from what I understand, pretty pretty well known and have won all kinds of really prestigious awards. So it's cool. They're like a 30-minute ride for me. So I just go over there and yeah, get the stuff done. So I always tell people, you see me driving down the road, make sure you take some pictures and post it on the internet. Kind of free advertising for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And
how much
do you even notice the perforated vinyl on that back window?
don't, and I was worried about that. So I told him I want to still be able to see out of it. But yeah, it's that from the inside, you look out of it like it's just, a little bit of a tinted window. You don't see the imaging on it or anything. I don't know what the material is, but from
Whatever it
the,
is, it's from the future.
yeah, and then from the outside looking in, you can't see in the truck. So it's kind of like a safety material or so. I don't know. But yeah.
That's really cool, man. No,
Yeah.
I have been in the interior of a Taco Bell, and this
Mhm.
is relevant, I promise. But every once in a while, when they do their window signage,
Yeah.
I think they use a similar material, and the only way that you can really see that it's there is that it's the tinted part of the window.
Yeah.
But it seems like the visibility, even through the graphic, not
Yep.
in the spaces, is somehow clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the future's amazing. That's all I
yeah,
have.
it's weird. And I actually had that same
Double-sided
material.
mirror.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's like a double-sided mirror.
Yeah. I have the same material on my shop windows. My garage doors have like the windows or whatever. And I put that same stuff on. It's just white. I think I got it on Amazon, but it's the same concept. It's just little holes. You know what I mean? From the inside, I can look outside and see if somebody pulls in or whatever, but outside looking in, you can't see in. It's cool.
That's
That's
actually cool.
Yeah. Something from the future.
yeah. Got your hands on future materials.
Something.
So you've got a full work schedule for the foreseeable future. Your ears
Yes, sir.
deep in 50 signs for 2 different clients. That is some heavy lifting,
Mhm.
either to be completed by you or your robot. You've got a spring play and a spring musical and a fall play, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When do you get to turn the machine off and go fly fishing, or how do you get out of town?
That's a good question. And my wife's probably listening, so I got to be smart with this answer. No, I'm just kidding. We actually have a family trip planned. We've never been to an island, right? So the plan is October. We're looking to go away to an island. Our son just graduated college, so as part of like his gift, we're going to go away. So that's kind of like our away time, like weekly kind of getaway, if you will. We have a couple wineries we like to go hang out at for a few hours or whatever, and listen to some music, things like that.
And is that a 2-wheeled adventure to the winery or a 4-wheeled adventure to the winery?
It's a 4-wheeled adventure to the
Yeah,
winery.
okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there was a motorcycle and a disappear out of town kind of thing.
No, believe it or not, I don't have a motorcycle.
No, okay.
Can you believe that?
Well,
I
again,
think
people that live in wine country usually
I,
find themselves proximal to motorcycles.
I feel like with my look, I should have a motorcycle. That's what everybody says too. But
Well,
no,
again, there's always tomorrow,
yeah,
right?
you got to convince my wife of that
Well, fun is fun,
Yeah,
and motorcycles definitely qualify as fun. So,
yeah, yeah.
just tell her that you'll get one with the big, pillion seat on the back, and
That's it. That's it. I'll have a prop one. I'll have a prop motorcycle.
there you go. That'll work.
That's funny.
Jessie's in the zone.
She is in the zone.
Oh, I just got a message from Stone, who is disappointed that the chat is not on.
Oh. Oh, it's on now. New comments will display here.
Yeah, but we don't want to do that. I don't
Yeah,
need it.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I've been over here making faces because I did a Windows update a day or so ago, and Now I'm just getting random pop-ups and all kinds of other things asking to be installed.
He,
So if
he
you see me
probably wants
making
he,
goofy faces,
he probably wants to chime in and say, I'm doing a terrible job when I was talking about Onefinity. Like, what are you doing? What are you saying?
Oh, stop.
Oh, speaking of the devil.
oh,
Did he
there's
text
there,
you too?
yeah.
He
Oh, that man is everywhere. I tell you
is
what.
everywhere. He's like, I'm not going to say what he's like. He's a nice guy.
All right, so let's say you're not doing commission work, right?
Yep.
Let's say that you're being left to your own devices, right? But you are, however, still in the shop and you need to make something that will bring you an immense amount of joy for the entire process. And that joy can be various types of joy: frustration, joy, learning joy,
Yeah.
overcoming obstacles, joy, right?
Sure.
What kind of a project are you going to work on?
Is this a project that I want short term or long term thing?
I want it to bring you joy. It can
Okay.
take as much time as you want.
Okay. Oof, man, that's tough. Probably anything where I can creatively make it and design it myself. Whether that's a cornhole design, whether that's a sign design, whether that's a prop piece, whatever. Because I love my customers and I love making stuff for them. Sometimes I feel like some customers don't give me the creative freedom to run with it, if you know what I mean, if you will. So I feel like not one specific thing, but if I had the freedom to be able to be like, okay, somebody said, this is what I want, make it happen. And then I can just take it from there, So yeah, something where I can put my spin on it and do what I want to do because I know it'll turn out great if they just allow me to do that.
Nice.
Did I
So
answer your question?
what's the most recent thing you've done like that? Give us more information. Come on, Danny.
Next question. I honestly don't know. I think it's probably the theater stuff, and that's one neat thing about theater. Every show is different, every interpretation is different, or whatever. So you have the ability to kind of tweak things a little bit. Because a lot of times, not so much the prop pieces, well, the prop pieces too, because I make them, but I'll just get like a rough drawing that a director or the art teacher, whoever, drew, and they're kind of like, "This is what we were thinking," and then I just kind of interpret that and make that drawing, of 3D reality, more or less. Um, yeah. So probably theater stuff would be what it's.
I love that. Do you ever get to work with the students on props?
No, I mean they'll come down, but like the high school I work with, and that's another nice thing about going to the schools to build stuff. I don't paint anything. Like I just build it and construct it, and then the art department or students in the drama program, like our high school has their own drama program. Um, that's part of their class, I guess. That end of it. Obviously, safety wise, they probably can't. They're not building sets, but if the set's already built and it's safe, they can come in and paint, and they can, dress the set as they call it, and do like the final touches and things like that. So I don't really work with them.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
recently.
sorry. I think that's one thing that excuse me. I think that's one thing I've been really interested in is because I grew up with a brother who was in musical theater, and he, has a degree in it at this point.
Nice.
Working doing, makeup and background stuff during plays and everything. And now that I am building things, like I would love to find a way to incorporate, the kids learning how to build their own sets, because
Yeah.
if they're in theater, they're going to be around set building and stuff all the
Yeah.
time. So, is there a way that I can give tools to these kids to build their own stuff, and
Yeah.
how does that look? So I understand where you're coming from, where you're like, no, I just build a thing and they can paint it later. But
Yeah.
what if I put a drill in their hand? Like,
Yeah.
what would that look like?
Right. And I guess that's all according to what, like, your school, how your school's set up. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think, I think it's great. I mean, I know, like, when I went to high school, I don't know what it's like now, but we had shop class. Like, I had a wood shop class. I have a table, a little tiny table made out of pine in the basement of my house that I made when I was whatever 16 in high school in wood shop. So especially if a school had a wood shop, program, and they
Yeah.
worked with the theater people or whatever, the sports team, they needed a bench built or anything. I'm all
But
about hands on. I
it's,
didn't go to college or any of that. I'm all about hands on. you
yeah.
know but
It's
everybody's
bridging
different.
that gap, though, between
Yeah.
here's your woodshop kids and here's your theater kids, but the theater kids are already creative. So I'm guarantee they would, imagine all these things, but giving them the tools to build that themselves would be, I
Yeah.
think, I think it'd be spectacular.
And it'd be
So
more meaningful to them because they're more more involved in the project, so they're putting their
exactly.
own spin on things and their own input. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like it. You should reach out to your school.
I already have more to come on that.
Nice.
So I've got a couple of business related questions that
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of send at you. Not necessarily rapid fire. We'll do them one at a time, but they're kind of going to go back to back here. The first of which is that your sign making business seems to do a fair bit of local work,
Yep.
but then you're also doing interstate as well.
Yeah.
Right? How do you go about prospecting new clients? Specifically, what were you doing at the beginning versus what you're doing now?
So believe it or not, I don't really prospect much. Pretty much anything I've got is like word of mouth or somebody found me on the social media. Um, there's been a few people that just they saw something that they liked on TikTok and reached out, and they're like, hey, my dad's in law enforcement and I saw X, Y, and Z thing that you made. I'm looking for something similar. And then that just started the conversation. The big sign order that I'm doing is actually a reorder from last year. And that was just a friend of mine who I met, never even met in person, but we were in a Facebook group and stuff making cornhole boards. We were like cornhole board makers when COVID happened. There was a bunch of us doing that, and business was booming then because of the whole COVID mess. And he knew I had a CNC and he couldn't take on the job. Somebody reached out to him, so he sent it my way and asked if I was interested, and I'm like, sure. And it's a huge company, and it's been great. So yeah, I don't. I don't really reach out. I mean, I'll put stuff out like on my social media pages. Hey, customs are open, and kind of like I have this whole little like marketing blurb thing with my little bullet points and my mustache character of me and all that. But that's really about it.
Okay, and so did you get into the TikTok thing? I'm going to use the phrase relatively early, sort of 2020, 2021 kind of thing?
Yeah, I had Instagram first, and then maybe even a little bit after that. It, I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, probably 21-ish, maybe 22. It's not been that long. I know that. And surprisingly, numbers wise, we touched on this earlier, whatever. My numbers are better on there than they are on Instagram, and I've been on there less. But you know how it is. You get one or two little things that kind of pop off or whatever, and get you a little traction. But again, I want the orders. I don't, you know what I mean?
Do what works, right?
Yeah. I use the social media stuff to talk with people and meet people and yeah, interact or whatever. That's not my income. I don't make money from. I mean, I might get
Right.
oil from it, but I don't have like huge sponsors or different things that are, I'm making big profits off of. So, but it's a nice way. It's a portfolio. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
another place to keep your work.
you're at 31.49 on Instagram, and TikTok is 45.79.
Yeah, and that's really like, poof. Like I hit a wall. I bet I've been at that number on TikTok within that same like 100 range for a year. Like
I think that's
I kind of
everybody.
hit a wall. Yeah, I hit
That's
a
like
wall.
everybody on all platforms. It's like the last like year and a half, would say, is everyone's been at a halt.
Yeah, it's a struggle bus.
It is a struggle bus. But you show up to events,
Yeah,
you're awesome, and people love you.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Yes, they do.
Well, I appreciate that. What do you got, TJ? You got more? I know you said you had multiple.
Well, so I think a lot of it also had to do with just interstate clientele, but you
Yeah.
answered that pretty effectively. And then I guess part two of that would be, are you nervous of working yourself out of local business? Like mathematically, do you think that you could sign or put signage on the majority of the paying customers in your town? And then what?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, because of no, I mean, the customers I get are getting stuff for their house or stuff. I don't do a ton of like business signage. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Where that would run out. I will say, just made me think of it when you brought that up. That I know, like early on, I took any job I could get. I think we all do, right? It's whatever. And oh, that price is a little high, and I would always like negotiate and be like, well, I could do a little bit cheaper, but not to sound boastful, you know, I've had the business since 2018. I've always tinkered with woodworking and different things or whatever, but I'm to the point now where I have enough people waiting in line that I don't need to have those conversations anymore, more or less.
That's wonderful.
I'm not trying to sound some sort of way, but you know what I mean? Like I can justify my cost and go with that.
Yeah. No, I used to wiggle and haggle and try and move prices around when I was doing a few of my craft fairs that I go to.
Yeah.
And I think you get about 3 or 4 years into doing the same event. One, people recognize what you have. Two, they've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to cost to get a piece, right? And then you learn that it might not be that person that doesn't want to pay, but in 20 minutes somebody will come through and they'll buy it for the price that you're asking for.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to be.
Can I just say real quick, I love you too, Stone.
Oh, you got him in the ear, huh?
He's texting all of us right now.
Is he really? That's so funny. Did you figure the chats out or no?
No, I didn't. I might
You
need
try to
to
figure that out for next time.
Well, these live shows, if they didn't have technology problems, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Here we go. Let's see.
Doing some clicking down there. All right, so the time looks like we are at about 48 minutes on our episode. Jessie, you already did a lap through the sponsors on the front side, correct?
Yes, I did. Probably not as good as you, but you are welcome to run through them again.
Okay, so we're going to do one more lap through the sponsors. Danny, did you get a primer on the final question? Did you remember that part, Jess?
No, he did not.
Well, you are in for a treat, amigo. Okay. So, man, I didn't even get to do my blurb. I got to tell you guys my little story also because I didn't get to do it at the beginning of the show. This very morning, compliments of daylight savings time, it may have been 5 a.m., which means technically 4 a.m. I don't know. Time and space don't make sense with little kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, the youngest member of our family decides that he's going to wake up, snaps awake, vertical, just beanpole, and asks his ALEXA friend in his room to play the theme from a cartoon called Sonic X. This is Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. And most of the lyrics of this song, which is sort of a power metal song, are gotta go fast, right? And that's the part that he's really latched onto. And so the first sounds that I hear coming from this kid's room is power metal, the phrase gotta go fast. And I open the door, and this kid is ripping full speed circles in the limited foot space that he has in his room. Just can't run fast enough. And the whole time he's going, gotta go fast, gotta go fast. And he looks me straight in the eyes when he sees I've opened the doors, and he goes, Dad, I gotta go fast. And that was my unique way to start the day. Okay, let's do a lap through sponsors. We got to thank Hannah and the team over at Surf Prep one more time. If you haven't had a chance to sand while using a Surf Prep dust collector system with the HEPA filters that burp every 15 seconds or so, you're missing out, right? You could be accidentally spraying micro particulate matter all over your furniture and your tools and your rooms. And with the HEPA system from Surf Prep, I mean, that's just really not part of your story anymore. And while you're doing woodworking or using a miter saw, it's really not that big of a deal. A shop vac will catch most of it. But let me tell you, cool kids, you tell me that same story when you're doing MDF or when you're doing drywall, right? Those are two totally different things, especially the drywall.
Yes.
Get yourself a good dust collector, get something with a proper filtration system on it, and when you go about getting it, use coupon code Sawdust Talk to save a little bit of money over at Surf Prep. Doesn't get any finer. Well, I mean, 1,000 grit's pretty fine, but you could be Surf Prep fine. I'm also going to shout out to Layla over at Casey Bombshell Design for hosting our merchandise on their store. Look at that. Jessie's already ready for bed in her extra cozy Sawdust Talk t-shirt.
Oh, I need one.
Yeah, no, it's a moral imperative. Also, if you are into tattoo flash nerd culture inspired scroll saw art, specifically wall hangings, her portfolio and the stuff that she does is super cool. So one more time, thank you again to Layla over at Casey Bombshell Designs. I also found out that she is hosting merchandise for a fellow member of the Royal Order of Woodturners, for which I am a member. And if you want to know more about Woodturner t-shirts, you can check out Layla's website as well. We need to also talk about Makers for St. Jude real quick. The goal for 2025 is $50,000 raised. How do you get involved with Makers for St. Jude, and what is it? Well, what we do is we have created sort of a funnel for makers and people in the maker community to either take extra work or specifically donated work, put together a raffle, and the proceeds from the raffle ticket sales will go to fighting childhood cancer and helping families who are dealing with that situation through St. Jude. And at the end, the maker is responsible for delivering the goods.
Danny, get involved.
Yeah, Danny. We're gonna really strong arm you into this one when the show. If you want to get involved, get a hold of me, get a hold of Jessie, get a hold of Mike over at Woodworker versus Cancer, or just do a little quick search for Makers for St. Jude. We will hold your hand. We will help create the portal. We will make this as easy for you as possible because big goals, big sponsors, big year 2025. Let's make it happen. And last but not least, I'm sure Jessie mentioned that there is a Sawdust Talk Patreon. Yeah? Did we touch on that too? So for as little as $5 a month, and we're talking less than a cheeseburger, less than a grande coffee at Starbucks these days, right? You could be supporting Jessie and I in our adventure towards making Sawdust Talk as legit as humanly possible. Most of the proceeds from Patreon are going to go towards pretty much buying airplane tickets or accommodations at the events so that we can see you guys in person, because we love you and we want to be near you, and you all deserve a high five when we see you. So if you swing by Patreon/Sawdust Talk, we appreciate all the support that you can muster our direction. We are now, boys and girls, at the final question. Danny,
Here we go. Here we go.
I love that you're getting blindsided with this one, because that brings me a ton of joy. The final question every episode, I like to ask the guests for a encouraging thought or a quote, or maybe even just a reason to open the door to their workshop, pick up a tool, maybe break a rut of non-creation and turn it into a frenzy of creativity. But we're looking at you, and we want to know what you would like to share with all of our listeners and viewers.
Woo. All right.
Go, Danny.
I think I got it. So for me, I struggled a bit when I lost my way, we'll say, with the fire department when I had to leave early. I'll try to not get emotional, but I needed something to do. I was in a funk, and my wood shop, my maker space became that place that I could get away from the struggle that I was going through mentally, and it gave me a place to just be able to be creative, get my mind off of things, build stuff, just escape. My wife always laughs because I say my favorite time of year is when it's nice out. I got the shop doors up, the music's jamming, I'm rocking out, sawdust is flying. I got my beats on, and I'm just rocking out, like just in my space. So I would say my encouraging words are, if you're going through something, just maybe take a step back, maybe pick up a tool, maybe paint something, maybe draw something, maybe cut something, maybe make some piece of art or something in your space to help get you over that struggle you're dealing with. My faith helped me through all the brain tumor stuff I dealt with, and the fire department, the surgeries, the medical life speed bumps that we all face. And they knocked me down quite a bit, but I just kept grinding.
There you go.
So that is my mantra. That's what I use all the time, and that's the reason I use it, because if I didn't have my faith in my family and my shop to be able to do stuff, I would have never got through it. But here I am.
That's wonderful.
With a sweet-ass mustache.
Yeah, it brings me a lot of joy to know that you found a why to overcome all of those hows, and that's wonderful, man.
Thank you,
Danny.
Yeah.
You are like, I don't know. I feel like I say this a lot, but I obviously invite people to come on the show because they are a light in the community, and I really do feel that about you. At maker events, you are a light, and there's a reason for that. And it's really refreshing to hear your story and get to know you a little bit more. And I'm really, really appreciative that you came on tonight to share a little bit more with us.
Well, I thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It's tough to talk about, but I try to just positive vibes. You know what I mean? We all deal with stuff, and if I'm at an event and I'm being friendly to people or whatever, I don't know what they're going through, just like they don't know what I'm going through. So maybe that's
exactly,
that smile is what they needed or whatever, because they're going through something. So yeah, but I appreciate you guys having me on. This was cool. My first podcast.
Huzzah!
Your first podcast.
Yeah, and you ended up on the best
we love
one.
You.
You can be on the second best one in about 2 or 3 weeks, though. I'm sure they'll send you an email about it.
Oh, that's so
Oh
funny.
my gosh. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us. This has been Sawdust Talk episode 149. We're almost at 150.
We're doing amazing stuff.
But Danny, thank you so much, and we will see you guys, TJ.
Next week, same bat time, same bat channel.
See you guys. Thank you.